You read the title right. I am ashamed of myself. I committed a crime of all crimes. The crime, some may say. But this was back in the day when I was a young 17-year-old pup. Probably 16. It was so long ago, I really don't remember. But I committed a crime that I still think about all the time. And it's something, it hits me randomly in days. I'll be doing whatever I'm doing, working, streaming, and, I'll think about it and I go, what a freaking idiot I used to be. What a dummy. What a idiot move that was. And I am lucky to still be here today. And I'm lucky to be sitting in this seat. And I'm lucky to have a family. And I'm lucky nobody got hurt outside of myself, because I potentially did put a lot of people in danger with doing this. And it's a story that I've told a lot of my friends. Not a story that I've really told publicly like that, because I'm just so ashamed of it. But back in 2015, I did a hit and run. Don't worry, I didn't hit nobody. This wasn't no John Jones incident where I hit a pregnant lady in the middle of a intersection and then I just took off with a bunch of coke in my face. It wasn't like that at all. It was actually a lot more stupid than that, a lot more innocent, I guess you could say, and that it's not really the right terms, but it was a lot less crazy than a lot of hit and runs. So this is where it all started. Me and probably 5 of my friends wanted to go to the park to play some basketball. So we did. We pull up to the park, we play basketball, we hang out, and at the time, I had taken my dad's Toyota Tundra V8. Okay, so this truck in the hands of a teenager is a very fast, very crazy, very amazing vehicle to drive. Okay, I don't know if anyone's ever drove a truck that big, a V8 that fast. Okay, at the time I was at that age, that truck, I don't think I had any business driving that truck. Let's just say that. Okay, but my dad was a great man. He let me drive his truck down to the park so I could play some basketball, and that is the last time I ever drove that truck, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you, because we get done playing basketball. Okay, we all say our goodbyes. We all get in our cars, and I go to back up and leave the parking lot. And as I back up, I didn't realize that parked directly behind me was another truck, and it was very long. It had a really long bed, and I didn't really pay attention to that truck as I was backing out. I was looking at a bunch of other things, and I barely did a little bump right on the back of the truck. Okay, hit the truck, immediately freaked out because it was probably about 8-9 o'clock, and everybody at the park that, because this was a big park, there was a birthday party going on, and everybody at the birthday party, I just see all their heads get up and turn and look. I was going probably, how fast are you backing up? 5 miles an hour? And I hit the truck, and everybody heard it. So they all look up and they all look, and that freaked me out the most. Okay, not even hitting the truck freaked me out. Not, I'm not worried about my truck. I'm worried about the people that just looked up and looked over at me. That freaked me out the most, and I totally panicked, and I put the truck in drive and I took off. Okay, but that is not the crazy part. The crazy part is I take off, okay, and I go probably half a mile down the road. There's a neighborhood, and I go into this neighborhood, and I'm unfamiliar with this neighborhood. It's a big suburban, built neighborhood, and I'm driving around through all the streets. I'm like, I'm getting lost. I don't know how to get out. I'm like, this was before I had an iPhone. This was before I just whipped out Google Maps and just, got around like that, whatever. So I wasn't really trying, and I was freaking out, so I wasn't trying to get on my phone. I was kind of just so hyperly aware of what's going on outside and paranoid that people were chasing me that I was just driving around for a good 10 minutes. Like, it felt like 10 minutes, probably was shorter than that. But I was driving around trying to find an exit, and I just couldn't. Now, this is where I say I messed up, because I should have just stayed, not at the parking lot, but I should have just stayed in that neighborhood, okay? Like, at the time, thinking it back, I should have stayed after I hit the car. But at the time, I was like, man, I should have just stayed in this neighborhood, shut my car off, and let them try to find me, and I would have been fine, right? But the universe was not on my side this day. Once I find an exit, I turn and I'm driving, and I realize the car behind me, that was the truck I hit. And he's on my ass, and he knows that that was the truck that hit him in the parking lot. So now he's on my ass chasing me. And when I say chasing me, he's chasing me because I am running. That's right. I'm going about 55, 65 down local streets, 25-mile-an-hour zones, school zones. I'm hauling ass trying to get away from this dude, right? I end up leaving this neighborhood. I go down about another half a mile, turn into another neighborhood. Now this neighborhood, I knew this neighborhood, so I thought I could get away from this guy here. And now this was a big neighborhood. It was half built, half not built, so there was a lot of desert lots, okay? Now I'm swerving, driving through all the streets, all the roads, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm in a V8 Tundra. I know this baby could go off-road, so I'm going to start dipping across these fucking dirt lots. I'm gonna start going across all these big wide desert areas. And so I get off the road, I get onto the dirt, and I start hauling ass. I'm going probably about 55, 60. I'm driving so fast I don't even see that the desert area where I'm going drops off probably about 4 feet. I tell you what, I Dukes of Hazzards that Toyota Tundra like no other, boy. I flew off of that fucking cliff, that 3-foot cliff, and I was in the air for a solid second or two, and I land, and the first thing I think of was, there's no way he's about to follow me through that, right? So I just keep going. I look up in my rearview mirror. That motherfucker is following me. He followed me through that. He jumped his car. He Dukes of Hazzards his Suburban over the cliff, lands it, and he's still right behind me. Now, my Tundra's way faster. I'm gapping him, but I have to stop. I have to turn. I have to stop. I have to turn. So every time I'm stopping, he's getting a little bit closer and inching his way up right behind me like a damn NASCAR race, okay? So anyway, after I jump the truck, I get back onto the road, and thank God there's nobody walking their dog. Thank God there's nobody going for a late night stroll. I could have hit somebody, man. I could have really done something bad, and thank God I didn't. And so anyway, I find the exit of this neighborhood, okay, and I think I'm going to get away from them. I'm thinking I'm going to get back onto the main roads where there's cars and people, and I'm going to use them to help me get away, right? I know, I'm crazy. And so I pull up, I turn right. He's still behind me. As I turn right, a couple cars get behind me. So now he has to get behind those cars, right? Now, this is where the shitty part happens. I get stuck behind about 6 cars at a stop sign, okay? Now, as I'm sitting there waiting, I'm like, there's no way he's going to get out and turn and cut me off and get in the opposite lane and hold up traffic for this little bump, right? And by the time I get up to the stop sign, it's my go. He gets out of the line, comes up, parks right in front of me, okay? Right in front of me, cuts me off at the intersection. He gets out of the car. Once he gets out of the car, he is a grown-ass man. Listen, I'm not a big person, okay? I don't know if this webcam tells you that or not, but I'm about 5'6", 5'7". At the time, I was like 150, soaking wet, okay? So he gets out of the car. He's a grown-ass man. I'm like, oh, shit, this dude's going to kill me. So I back it up. I turn. I get around him, and I start hauling ass down to the next neighborhood. Haul ass down. I turn left, turn right, stop the car. Shh. Turn the lights off. Turn the lights off. Now we wait. I look up in the rearview mirror. I see his headlights at the stop sign. He turned left, turned right, and where he should have turned right, where I was, he turns left. Okay? So he turns left. I see him in my rearview mirror go the opposite way. This was like a Kendrick Lamar song, right? He made a right, then a left, then another right. Yes, one long night with the homies. Indeed it was. Now, this is where my smart ass thought I got away. I was like, man, I can't believe it. I was feeling myself like no other. A 16-year-old who just got out of a high-speed chase and got away with it. I was feeling myself. I called up my buddy. I was like, yo, you'll never guess what happened. And they go, what, bro? Hey, they were chasing me. They were chasing us too. So they had another crew chasing my other buddies that had left the same time I had left because they thought they hit the car. So they ended up following them everywhere. My buddies had ended up calling the cops, this and that. It was a whole thing, right? So I think I get away. Okay, so now what I do, this is where my GTA mind comes into play, right? My poor teenager Grand Theft Auto 5 mind goes, you need to get rid of the truck. You need to get off the streets, get rid of the truck. So I'm driving around until I find an open gated apartment complex that I could park my truck in for the night. And so I find one, I park the truck, and I call my buddy and I say, hey, I got away. They were chasing me. I stashed the vehicle. Come pick me up. I'm going to spend the night at your house, and we're going to talk about this and laugh and smoke some weed and have a great night. That's what I assumed would happen. Now, what had happened was I go over to my buddy's house. He picks me up. Right. He picks me up from the apartment complex. We go over to his house. I'm there for 2 minutes, and then I get a call from my parents. And they go, hey, the cops are here and they said you're involved in a hit and run. You want to explain that? And I go, yep, that was me. And they go, oh, really? Where are you at? And I tell them, I'm at X's house, right? So my parents come get me along with the cops, and they questioned me, and they asked me where the car was, and the cop was like, oh, you stashed the truck? That is hilarious. I don't know why you think that would work, but we have the license plate. They called the license plate. They called you. Like, we were going to find you anyway, no matter what. The cop pretty much laughed at me. He was like, you fucking dumbass. You thought you were going to get away with this? That's pretty much what it was. And so they charged me with a hit and run, which is a misdemeanor, right? And even the cop said, dude, like, you backed up, you hit the car, the dent is this big, right? This big. It was the tiniest dent of all time. Like, you couldn't even tell it was a fender bender. It looked like a golf ball would have hit it. So I should have stayed. Moral of the story, I should have stayed. I should have handled it then and there. But yeah, I didn't, and I learned from that mistake, and I will never run away from any kind of hit and run, any kind of anything after that again. And so, yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. It's just something I think about from time to time, and it brings me great shame. So maybe letting that go and telling the world of my dumbass, stupid, fucking shit that I did, maybe that'll make me feel better. Anyway, peace and love.